Welcome to our webinar on the integration between Zoho CRM of the CRM Plus bundle and Zoho Survey. So my name is Warren. I'm the evangelist for Zoho. I'm out of the California office here in Pleasanton by the San Francisco Bay Area, and I'm the evangelist here. And I'm also joined here by our team as well. We have Indu and Mutu from the Zoho Survey team, and I believe I have some colleagues also tuning in from our Austin, Texas office as well. So on behalf of Zoho, we'd love to welcome everyone to today's webinar. And we also did this earlier today at 2 p.m. IST time. So if you joined that and you're back on with us now, welcome back. And hope you had some coffee. Meanwhile, today we'll be talking specifically about, briefly about the Plus bundle itself, Zoho CRM, why having a feedback system such as Zoho Survey integrated with Zoho CRM, why that's important, and what are the pitfalls in terms of managing that feedback. And we'll tell you how to avoid those obstacles. Then we'll talk about the actual integration basics. And then we'll actually show you an extensive demonstration of everything from the setup to creating your own survey and then distributing it and reviewing results inside Zoho Survey. So that'll be pretty straightforward. So if you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to ask away. Our team will be taking care of questions during the presentation and during the demo itself. So we'll also make this available for you to review at your own leisure with the recording. It'll be uploaded onto YouTube. The presentation itself will be distributed, and we'll also provide you with the user guide and help resources so you can review this at your own leisure. And we also have a couple other webinars happening with our CRM Plus bundle. We have Zoho support coming up, and also Sales IQ as well, which is live chat support for your website. And that will be emailed to you in the follow-up email as well. So again, I see a couple folks that are just joining on, so welcome. My name is Warren, and I know on your, I think it just says Zoho Corporation for who's talking, but yeah, my name is Warren. And this is being recorded, and all of this will be distributed to you to review afterwards. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to ask away during the presentation in the question box or the chat box, and we'll go from there. All right, let's get going. All right, so we'll be talking specifically about the integration between Salesforce automation with Zoho CRM and Zoho Survey. So the Plus bundle was envisioned as a customer-centric bundle of apps. And before, all of these 8 apps were sold separately. And for once, we're bringing it all together, and we're really, really happy about that. They have native integrations that are built in, and we've had an amazing response. So you're just looking at 2 of the 8 apps here. So definitely encourage you to look at the other parts as well. And again, our pricing point is fantastic. So $50 a month per user. Zoho CRM Enterprise alone was about $35 a seat. And just to have access to this entire bundle is a huge, huge advantage to you. And we're really happy that you're partnering with Zoho on that front. And if you're not familiar with that, just look up Zoho CRM Plus on Google and you'll find all this information. All right, so ultimately the CRM Plus bundle is designed to help you engage with the right prospects, be more efficient in your sales. The goal is to retain more customers and measure and improve every facet of customer interaction. All right, so here are the 8 apps themselves. So obviously we're talking about Zoho CRM, we're talking about Zoho Survey, but we also have some other apps. So we have support, campaigns, project management, Sales IQ, which is live chat, Zoho social for managing your social channels, and Zoho Reports. And that's for your business intelligence analysis and functions like that. And again, it's a great pricing point. And now let's jump into survey itself. So in terms of gathering feedback, there's something called the Johari window, which was a psychological concept that was developed in the 50s by two psychologists. And it basically deals with kind of the etymology of knowledge. And effectively, the goal of having feedback, while there's things that you know, there's things that you um, know that you don't know, or things that are unknown to other people. The true blind spot is what's known as it's an item that is uh, you don't know that you don't know about this item, and that's a massive blind spot. And the goal of having a feedback mechanism is to bring light to that region of knowledge. So that's the ultimate goal here. So in terms of actual benefits, again, it's to bring a customer feedback loop into Zoho CRM. You're going to combine survey data with customer data in your CRM, so you know what's happening with your customer base. The results from Zoho Survey in CRM will give your sales reps just more information to convert leads, and they can view those responses from the record window itself. And ultimately, regular feedback will help every facet of the company, from development to marketing, the sales, to finance, management. Obviously, appreciates this, and overall, I mean, this is sort of a no-brainer. Just talk to your customers. Ask them what's working, what's not working, and take that feedback seriously. So oftentimes that's just neglected. So with this, is particularly with workflow automation and macros, this will become an automatic process. So you won't have to think about this. It's already integrated with your sales automation, and you can just look up the data anytime. All right, so here is a sample lead, our hypothetical Charles Stone from Zillium Incorporated. And notice we have a couple different surveys that were sent out to him. Here's the various titles, the times that they were sent, and we sent this via the actual send email option, and that's a individual email sending method. We can also do a mass email, and as you know from CRM, you can also schedule mass emails. We could create a workflow automation as well, and we can also use Zoho campaigns to distribute this. So we'll talk about more about that in just a second. But you have the sort of you kind of like a micro and a macro method to distribute surveys. All right, so what are some scenarios that are important for using Zoho Survey? So ultimately, when you're losing deals or when you're winning deals, you want to know what you did right, what you did wrong, and definitely what you did in a very ugly way. So just asking is pretty straightforward. And in terms of managing your brand, people who are unsatisfied with the customer experience will ultimately tell far more people about the bad experience than someone that's happy. And that's why everyone takes social media very seriously. If it applies, Yelp is taken very seriously, and you want to be able to manage what's happening and give folks a forum to express their dissatisfaction, and then hopefully you can recover from that. And if you can't, at least you know what went wrong, and you can prevent that in the future. So knowing or having these kind of sales autopsies for your deals are important. And then also for training or for education in general or for any type of communication, are you getting across to your customers? For example, we're doing this webinar, and I hope we're hitting all 8 apps on all 8 cylinders, and we want to make sure that you're happy with this in terms of the content, the support we provide you after this, and we want to make sure that this session is easy and it's understandable, and you can implement this right away. So that's an example of making sure that hey, are we doing what we're supposed to be doing outside of just sales, but in basic communication. And also, it's great to use a survey tool to just manage your brand. So hopefully you have a focus group or a VIP group of customers that are sort of your brand ambassadors and your real evangelists on the streets. And they're probably giving you feedback on a regular basis, just great tips in general of what's good, what's not good. And you can always ping them on a regular basis, perhaps through a workflow automation with a date interval built in. And you could ping them, every 60 days, every 90 days, and say, hey, what have you heard about our brand? What's working? What's not working? Any suggestions, comments, any interesting stories that you've heard? Because your top customers are your eyes and ears on the street and in the marketplace, and selling to them is always easier than selling to a new prospect. And if this group of customers are providing you with feedback, this also obviously helps brand loyalty. So they feel a part of the creative process and are more inclined to continue buying with you and also give you amazing feedback. So for brand management, having a survey function is pretty obvious. All right, so with the benefits kind of spelled out pretty briefly, and let's jump into Zoho Survey itself. So we're going to talk about the three basic goals of any survey tool. And you just need to be able to make surveys, distribute them, and review them. So in making a survey, it's pretty easy. We can start with a blank slate. We can use an existing template. We can build off existing templates and customize the look and the feel to keep that consistent with your branding and imaging. We can use existing surveys and build off of that. And I'll show you my actual surveys for Zoho. And there's also multiple form factors for design and, of course, customization. And you can also share the collaborative aspects of surveys. So oftentimes, surveys are not created in a vacuum. Maybe you're collaborating with your marketing team. You want your sales team to give you feedback on what questions to ask. Management will definitely be involved. So you might be working with a lot of different folks. So we have a couple different options. We have a sort of read-only and comment-only option. We can also do a collaborative function as well and sharing the creative aspect of creating surveys. So both those options are available. And then for distributing surveys, as you know, automation is huge. And if you're not familiar with what workflow automation is, what it is we can create a rule where once the trigger is turned on, it's going to look for a certain criteria. And once the rule trigger is turned on and the criteria is fulfilled, it's going to perform a certain action. And that action could be sending an email alert. It could be setting up a follow-up. It could be calling a webhook. It could be plugging into a two-way custom function. And yeah, so it could vary. So let me pull up the CRM help resources page here. This is if you go to Zoho CRM and go to CRM resources, we have a user guide on workflow automation, but we also have a video. And here's where you can learn more about that. Here's my colleague Tejas out of Austin. He has a quick little video on workflow automation. And he'll talk about the ins and outs of basic setup and some examples. So if you want to look into that, just dive into CRM resources and you can find that. All right, perfect. All right, so besides workflow automation, which is the top of the I guess the cream of the crop here, we can also have other forms of mass distribution such as Zoho Campaigns. So Zoho Campaigns is our email marketing app, and it gives you killer analytics on the back end of what's happening. And we also have integration with MailChimp as well. But of course, we recommend Zoho Campaigns since it comes with the CRM Plus bundle, and that's already included. And then we can also use URL links directly in your email, and you can just copy and paste that. You can also use social media to distribute your surveys. And then we can also embed that in a web page and we'll give you the raw source code, and we'll show you that in our demo. And you can also use QR codes. We have a couple folks who like to use QR codes and throw it onto brochures, business cards, yeah, just literature in general. So that's easy to do. And then we also have offline surveys. So I've used this myself in a kind of trade show environment where the food is non-existent and the internet is atrocious. So having offline surveys in that situation is especially handy. You can set up sort of a like an iPad kiosk, for example, or if you use a different tablet, you can use that as well. And we're not going to go into exactly how to set this up, but in our user guide, we have a section fairly detailed on how to set up an offline survey. And then it'll store it offline, and then once you get back online, it'll push it back to Zoho Survey and all that jazz. And of course, you can also print your surveys if you would like to go with the tried and true old school method. All right, so again, briefly, if you want to do a mass emailing option, instead of using the mass email or schedule mass email function in Zoho CRM, we recommend using Zoho campaigns because you're going to get much better analytics. And again, I noticed many folks have joined us since we've started. Please feel free to ask away during our presentation. We have a team standing by to answer your questions. And all of this material, from the recording to the presentation to the user guide, will be distributed to you afterwards. So no worries. All right, so after we create surveys, after we send them out, how do we review results? All right, so we can look at charts and reports. We can look at the summary response or an individual response. We can also look at various filters. We can segment the report itself. We can export different sections so that can be shared with the relevant teams. We can export as a spreadsheet, comma separated values, or as a PDF, completely up to you. We can also have this be viewed in Zoho Sheet if you would like. And we also have an integration with Google Apps, in particular to Google Drive and Google Sheet. And this will push real-time feedback into Google Sheet. And you can also run your filters and various reporting features off of that as well if you prefer that method. So as you know, we have a very tight integration partnership with Google Apps, and that makes your life infinitely easier if you're happy with the various great Google products. All right, and for mobile, we have both a builder function here with our native iPad app for building surveys, and for viewing surveys, all surveys will be browser optimized, and we'll show you what that looks like in our preview section, or the demo part. All right, so looking at the actual integration between Survey and CRM, in particular, you can schedule and distribute surveys and then track those responses. And we can view those surveys individually in contacts or leads. And once we set up the integration, we'll have a great insert a survey link button that's built into your email template. So it'll be nice and obvious, and you will never forget about it ever again. So that'll be pretty handy when you're creating templates. And then we can also distribute surveys through your email list. And then, of course, you can automate surveys. We can use the 1-2 combo punch of custom views and macros to also push out surveys as well. And I'll show you all of this in our demo. All right, so here's what it actually looks like when we're actually creating a email template. And again, we mentioned that here we go. We have this nice button that's very obvious, and you can use your merge tags and just create a great template. And we are drastically improving this functionality here, and we'll be very proud to present this in the next several weeks or so as we keep you updated. So there's more to come, of course. And then in actually doing the mass email option, it's right under lead tools. You can do the mass email, or you can schedule the mass email as well, and then pick your templates. And this is a built-in function that works. It works well. It just doesn't give you any backend analytics. And that's why we want you to ideally use Zoho campaigns. All right, so here is rule triggers, and this is for creating a workflow automation. So it's going to set a rule, it's going to create a criteria. So once the rule is triggered and the criteria is fulfilled, it will prompt that actual action that you set up, and this will be automatic. So we'll show you how to set this up in our demo. And then in terms of viewing a response, this is an actual lead, or lead or contact, and you'll see a section called Zoho Survey, and then you'll see the relevant surveys here, and you can view those responses. And if you don't see the view response button already available, that could be for a couple different reasons. And we're going to go into those caveats in just a second. But in essence, you can view the individual report or the summary report from that link in the actual record. It looks something like this. And again, here's the caveats. If the view response link does not show up, it could be one of two reasons, or actually some more reasons, but here's the top two. It could be that the respondent has not taken the survey. So that's pretty self-explanatory. And the other reason is maybe the survey was distributed with something else. Maybe you use MailChimp. In that case, that integration doesn't exist, and you're not going to see that pushback to Zoho CRM, which is why we recommend using Zoho campaigns, because the Zoho secret sauce is already employed in full force. You have native integrations out of the box. So you already paid for it and it's included. So why not use the awesome $50 a month option for the 8 apps? All right, so let's jump into our demo. And I've noticed even more folks have joined our webinar since we started. So again, welcome. And we're distributing this presentation, the recording, and the help guide. So no worries if you missed anything. You can review at your own pace, and we'd be happy to answer any questions offline. And if you have any longer questions, we have our email, which is support@zohosurvey.com. So you can look that up. And let's pull out Zoho Survey itself. All right. So this is my actual corporate account, and we have the Enterprise Edition here. And we use this extensively in-house, particularly for our events. And we have multiple conferences happening. So here is our biggest one of the year, the Sales and Marketing Conference. So here's the actual survey. So I'll build a survey from scratch, but I just want to show you what this looks like. So let's just actually, so this is the actual survey. I think I have 11 questions. I am asking like, this is a pre-event survey. I want to find out where people are going to be staying, if they have any dietary restrictions, just a brief essay box on if they're expecting, what they want to get out of the conference. And I also employed question logic. So on the question of where are you coming from, if the response is United States, I want to show the question, what state or territory are you from? And that way we could clarify if they're from Guam, or they're from Puerto Rico, or they're from California. So we can also do page logic, so we can send the person to a different page. We also have termination logic, which will send you to a different landing page based on your feedback. All right, so let's just look at a report really quick, which I'm sure you're interested in. So here's a brief report, and we can see the summary view or the individual response for each survey. And here we can just see the overall snapshots. But yeah, so we'll go back to building a survey from scratch, so no worries. So that's kind of the use case. And let's bring out my actual demo account. All right, so here I'm logged in, and let's go into CRM as well. All right, how do you set up the integration? So, no problem. Go to the setup page, go to Zoho Apps under Apps and Add-ons, and you'll see all of the different apps that we're integrated with. So we're just going to focus on Zoho Survey, And we have this already enabled, but let me just turn it off and we'll build it from scratch here. All right. So we get a quick, easy video in case you missed this or you want to just look at that. Click Get Started. You can configure which account. If it's from a different account that has a that's separate from this and you want to use that, you just need the API key or the Zest key. And how you generate that is you go to Zoho Survey and you go to the setup page and you'll have this generated right here. And if you need a different key, it can be regenerated and you can just copy and paste. But if it's the same account for the survey and the CRM side, in terms of the email login, then it's even easier. You don't have to do this and you just go, hey, I want to configure the current account. I want to use all accounts from the survey. Use all surveys from this account. Click submit and it's done. And now it's turned on. So once this is turned on, you'll see once you go to your email template section, you'll see that once you create the templates, you'll see this nice insert survey link on the right, and that will make your life so much easier. So let's actually create a template now, and let's say this is survey product feedback. We'll say the subject line is please share your product feedback. We can use a tag here. Let's just copy and paste this. I love merge tags. And here we can insert the survey link. And we'll have to select the survey. So let's actually build a survey. So this will make more sense. So now let's jump back into the survey app here. And again, on CRM, it's really easy. So go to setup and then go immediately to your email templates. And now let's actually build a survey. So we can, as we mentioned, we can use an existing templates and build off of that. Or we could build off an existing survey. And if you click the current one, we could get a quick preview of that. And if you click the preview button, it'll show the exact look and feel. And we're going to ignore this one. And you know what? Let's build one from scratch. All right. So let's say survey. Let's say it's a product feedback survey. Awesome. All right, great. So we have 2 pages here of options for the actual questions, and it's pretty extensive. You probably just play with this, once or twice, and you'll know what to do. So I really like using headers. Having a heading is nice. So I like to say something like, "Thank you for your time in filling this out." Let's say five easy questions. Thank you. Thank you in advance. Bam. So nice little survey header. Let's add a header at the end as well. Let's say thank you so much for your time. And we'll put that at the bottom. And in between, we can insert a question. So let's figure out what we want to do. Let's say, let's do a rating scale, or a star rating system. Here we go. Out of 5 stars, 5 being the best, how would you rate our service to you? And we can also make questions mandatory or not. I would recommend not doing that because it pisses people off and that reduces the number of overall responses. So I would love to make it mandatory. Realistically, not practical. So that's that question. Let's insert maybe another question below that. Let's say maybe we want to do a different kind of question, maybe a multiple choice single answer question. And we also have some default So let's say we had some question. We have default answers already set up here. So we can click gender. We could click marital status. That's already populated. We have a agree or disagree scale. Days of the week, if you're asking something like about that. Months of the year. So all this stuff is already populated for you. So you can use that to save a little bit of time. So besides during our service, let's say we wanted to do something like, would you recommend this service to others? Yes, no. Let's add another option. Maybe with a certain, maybe, but I don't think. Yes, no. Or let's say we can add another choice, and they can say something like maybe, but with, but maybe, but this item needs to be improved. And we can also change the display format as well. So whether it's vertical or horizontal, it's up to you. Okay, so I just saved that, and I changed the other box, the third option, to maybe, but this item needs to be improved, and it can fill this out. And then what we can do is we can also employ what's called an email trigger as well. So if you see this section filled out, it will trigger an email response to get sent out to someone that handles maybe development or something, or just a customer relationship in general. So I'll talk more about that in a second. But that's one question we built. What else can we do? Let's do an essay box. How did you hear about us? Can you tell us how you heard about us? And then we can specify the questions here. And maybe let's leave the email box. May we have your email? Optional. We'll send you a thank you. All right, so now we've played with that. Let's say I wanted to move the questions around. How do you do that? And if you're familiar with CRM, it's a click and drag option. Here we just have to, you click the move button and just select where you want it to be moved to. Bam. So now we have the email question as the second item here. And if I was using multiple pages, I could name the page as maybe brief survey, something like that. If I have multiple pages, it's helpful to name that differently. So we can also employ question logic, so it kind of filters and directs to more relevant questions, as you saw earlier with the what state are you in if you're already in California, if you're already in the United States. So those are those options, and we have page logic as well. Yeah, so I'm overall pretty satisfied with this. Let's go to our preview page. All right, so on the top here, you'll see we have a couple different viewing options. So here we're viewing it on a browser, and this is exactly what we'll see. And we can tweak some of this, so no worries. We can get a sense of how it's going to look on a iPad here. Let's see, we can also have, this needs to be updated, but the iPhone 4, and this is what it'll look like, so that works. And if we're happy with this, hey, maybe we can also add a different theme. So we're using the ocean one, I believe. Let's change it to maybe aqua. And it's maybe something more bland. Yes. For all us colorblind folks here. Nice and gray. All right, let's publish this. And bam, we have our link here. And before we get into deployment, let's look at the other options here. So we had our edit page. We have settings. We could upload a logo. So you can have that. You can have your corporate logo here. We have some navigation tools. I would recommend not enabling CAPTCHA because that drives people crazy, and it's going to reduce your overall survey response, which is not good. You can turn off this little footer that's powered by Zoho. And here's where you set up your what's called termination logic, or it's going to direct the survey responder to the correct closing page. So, for example, there's a default end page, and you can select where that goes, and you can say, hey, if they answer, 5 out of 5 stars, we can send them to a different page, and you can have that already built and ready. And maybe it's a thank you page, maybe it's something else. Maybe if it's if they're really unhappy, they get a different page, and so you can tailor make their end page experience here. So that's where we would play with that. Oops, probably have to turn this off. Okay, I'll save this real quickly. And then so we can also customize the theme here. And we had an existing theme that we're using, but we can also customize the look and the feel down to the nitty gritty. So we can select every section, select the appropriate pattern or background image. We can get the correct hex value for the color, or just kind of, play with the RGB values here. So whatever you would like. Try to get like a pumpkin-esque hue here. Perfect. Let's see, we can play with the font, get the exact customized section you want, and the color, borders, shadows, alignments, pretty much the complete look and feel you can save. And we can, once you have a custom theme, we can save this. So we can say, we'll call this theme Pumpkin Spice, because pumpkin spice is awesome. And yeah, we'll save that there. And let's look at integration options. All right, so Zoho CRM. All right, that's pretty awesome. And we also have Google Docs. So this will push live results to Google Sheet. So let's look at these CRM integrations. Click the Integrate Now button, and bam, we can integrate with particular modules. And we're still working on this exact feature to make this a little easier. This will automatically add and update records based on the survey response. And it's not perfect yet, but basically we can map the field on the CRM side to the Zoho survey question. And if you've ever tried to play with the custom fields, you know that last name is a mandatory field, and you can't get away from that. So you can build the first name, last name question here, and always get that mapped. Besides that, we had another question like, may we have your email? And we can map that to, where's email? Email. Bam. So we can stick it to either add a record, update a record, either or. So it's up to you. So there's some help here on setting up both sections. So it's up to you. And we're going to ignore this at the moment right now. We'll talk more about this in the coming weeks. And next, let's look at deployment options. All right, so here we have a collector list. This is how you compile multiple surveys and generate one singular deployment or report. And you just create a new collector. Here's the actual web link. You can share it via social media. And let me copy this link. Let me throw this into our chat box here. And if you guys want to fill this out, we could take a quick look at this. So besides that, we can embed the survey. Here's the actual source code for HTML. If you want iframe, if you want JavaScript, or you want pop-up HTML, you can just copy and paste. And here's a QR code. So just save the image as, and little trivia about QR codes. This is actually invented by the joint venture between Toyota and GM in my hometown in Fremont, in Northern California, at the what used to be called the NUMMI car plant. And they just want an easy way to create an ID code that was easily scannable on cars in different parts. And now the Tesla factory has taken over there, so that's pretty cool. All right, so here's offline surveys, which are again especially handy for trade shows and some other features or use cases as well. But I've personally only used this for trade shows. Here's the actual Zoho campaigns and how to set that up. So again, Zoho campaigns is included for you, so you can just customize how you want this to look. You can customize that template and go from there. So this is how you distribute email campaigns with Zoho Survey. We have social media here, so just connect Facebook. And remember we mentioned we didn't like CAPTCHA or mandatory questions. There's some other ways to kind of like protect your survey. So you can use a cutoff date. So for example, I have a conference on this Thursday and Friday. I'll create a survey and I'm gonna turn off the cutoff date maybe a week out. I can also limit the response count so bots don't spam us and go crazy with that. So if I have 100 attendees, I'll maybe set it for 125, and that should be pretty safe. We can also prevent the same IP address making the same providing the same feedback over and over again. And we can also allow users to update the responses as well. So what other restrictions can we do? We can use password protections to make this really exclusive. And we can always ultimately choose to close the survey. And once we close the survey, you can also reopen it as well. So no problem. All right, so that's how you create a survey. So now that we already have one built and you understand a lot of these basics, let's briefly look at the advanced options. We can invite a reviewer, which will give them read-only access, but they can comment. We can share the survey, which allows them to actually tweak things. We can use custom variables, which will auto-populate or auto-fill some of the sections. We can set up email triggers. This is really important. So let's actually delve into this really quickly. Let's look at something like, let's pretend this went to support@zohocorp.com. And I want to set up an email trigger like, hey, if someone fills out the out of 5 stars questions, if they respond poorly, I want an email generated immediately to address this issue and save the day. And we can easily set this up and then basically set an email trigger based on the actual question response, so that can alert us internally on what's happening. So that's really on kind of crisis management here. Okay, so that's briefly on email triggers. Again, just read our user guide and that'll explain this a little bit more. You can translate surveys into multiple languages, and then the recipient of the survey can pick the relevant language. And you can also tweak the language itself in terms of the translation. So if you have some knowledge of the target language, you can kind of tweak that and kind of localize it or customize the verbiage. You can print surveys, you can export, pretty straightforward. All right, so that's actually building a survey. I was pretty thorough because you've probably never looked at Zoho Survey before, and you're already pretty much pretty well versed on CRM. So now let's actually jump into sending this and reviewing this in Zoho Survey. And let's actually go back to the home page. And looks like we have 5 responses. All right, so thank you guys. Let's just briefly look at the responses. Can we have your email? I'm gonna scroll past this. Let's see. Out of 5 stars, how would you rate this? Here's the average rating. We can view sort of the chart only or chart and data only. It's up to you. We can export the particular section, and it could just be a PDF or as an image. So if you want to throw us in an email, make yourself look super awesome with your managers, that's an easy way to do this. Here's our would you recommend the service question? And remember, we had that third option, which is maybe, but this item needs to be improved, and it generated a small little text box, and it said something like simple chronological outline. Someone said support. So that was a nice little section there. Can you tell us how you heard about this? Blah, 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 blah. And if we want to export this section, easy as pie. All right, so that's the kind of summary response. If we want to view the individual response, we could have done that as well. But let's just for now see, here's the export options, and here's the sharing reports options. We can create different segments and get this segmented. We can share permissions privately through email with an entire corporation or organization, or externally, or with a password. Okay, perfect. So let's go back to Zoho Survey. I'm sorry, Zoho CRM, and let's go back to our email template. So let's insert, since we built our survey link, let's insert one. All right, so we just have that done here. Thank you so much. We'll send a coupon code out to each person who fills this out. All right, so here's our templates. Let's save this. All right, so we got our template set up. And now let's look at our couple different options for distributing this. So we had workflow automation. So let's go back to that. Go to setup, go to automation, let's go to workflow, and we're gonna create our workflow rule. All right, so we'll say this is for new customers or new leads. Send product survey. Oh, bummer. New leads and send product survey. Let's make this ascending. Save. And here is the rule trigger. We want this maybe to be powered by a record. So when a record is created, it's going to send a survey. So this order, we can create a criteria and really segment our customer database here down to the very to our own custom fields and those different data points. But for now, we're going to ignore this and not create a criteria. So effectively, every new lead that's created will get this email template. So we'll create this alert. We want it to pull the product feedback. We want the email to be sent. I'm going to create the alert name saying product survey for new leads. We can add additional recipients. And this is also handy. Let's say they're not in your CRM database, or it's going to some third party that's also there's a couple different options here, but here's that text box for additional recipients. And for now, let's save and associate, and we can even assign a task to follow up on the survey. So follow up on survey response, and we'll set this as very high, because that's hot feedback and we want to be able to do something with that. I can assign that to myself or a different member of the team. I can notify the assignee and remind them. And we can do an email or a pop-up. Pop-ups don't pop up if you're not signed into CRM. So as a best practice, we like to recommend email alerts. And we'll save and associate that. Oops, days cannot be easy. Let's say 1 day after we'll send that as a trigger date. And it's saved. So we have two things happening here. We have the workflow automation, and we have the reminder to our sales guy or gal. We're going to save this, and it's done. So anytime a new lead is created, it's going to do this. So to show you that this works, let's create a new lead. Let's delete myself. All right, so if there's a survey section on the bottom, and once it's filled out, it'll populate there. But somewhere there should be, it should show us that an email went out because we just created that lead. So I did this correctly. Bam, open activity. Oh no, that's our follow-up activity. So here's a follow-up activity, which is part of the workflow automation. And here we have the sample survey that is that today's? Wait, that's not the right one. Oh, here we go. Bam, workflow alert. Here we go. 11:57. It was sent out. Please share your feedback. All right, perfect. So once that's filled out, it will show up right here, and you'll see that this was sent via a workflow alert. I'm running out of time here, so let's just go back to our inbox. Here's my inbox. Awesome. And here's the survey. I could fill it out. I'm just gonna do whatever. Submit. Oh. Bam, done. Sends me to the thank you page. Awesome. All right, let's refresh this. And we should see that. And we can view that response. Bam, view response. Look at that. All right, so here's the actual response. Oh no, got my IP address. No, whatever. And here's the stuff, and that's it. Pretty straightforward. So if this is part of a larger response, we'll see what happened as well. So remember, this is part of 9 responses. We had the other previous responses here, and we can see that. So here's the total summary of that particular survey. So pretty awesome. All right, so that was what we did. We have 1 minute left. Let's go back to leads. We can select all. You can create a macro, which I'm sure you know how to do. Just create a macro, and that's a nice kind of like 1-2 punch. We can use a custom view, recently created, and then send a mass email if you want, and or schedule a mass email, and it'll push it out that way instead of using Zoho Campaigns. So again, we recommend Zoho Campaigns. And let's jump back to our presentation because we're running out of time here. And here's the presentation. Okay, here's some upcoming features that we just finished. A lot of you use, or some people use SPSS reports, and now IBM's acquired them, so it's kind of on the cloud. If you use that, we can export for that format, and you can run your reports that way. So congratulations, we have that integration now, or not integration, that format. We can schedule reports now, which are super awesome. I love having survey results show up in my inbox without me having to go fetch it. We have reports integration coming in the next 3 months, and you'll be able to use our business intelligence tool with your survey results. And we'll have a scoring feature, so we can build in a quiz feature into surveys. So for example, maybe you need a personality test. Maybe you want to have an exam or something, or a pop quiz. And that could also be worked in with the kind of end page, and you can direct them to the right one. So it's like, hey, Johnny, you got an F on our quiz. You get a special end page, and that's coming in the next 3 months. And with that, we're going to open up for brief Q&A. And quick shout out here, we have our Zoho support and CRM integration webinar tomorrow at, I have no idea what time this is. I'm sorry. I think it's in my inbox somewhere. Let me just briefly check that out. This is part of our CRM Plus launch. What time is it? What time is it? They're both 2 p.m. Eastern or 11 o'clock Pacific time. So same time as today. So it's Zoho support and CRM. And there's also Sales IQ with CRM integration, which is super awesome, by the way. It's just super awesome. And if there's no questions, I can maybe show you what this looks like. And again, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Warren, and behalf of the Zoho Survey team, thank you so much for joining us and investing 1 hour of your time to learn about taking CRM to the next level. We're really happy that CRM Plus has been so well received, and we're really happy to bring all these apps together at a great price point and really give you, the customer, some amazing insights into running your business, making it easier, and helping you make more money to go do what you do. All right, so here's our email if you want to jot it down. It's feedback@zohosurvey.com, and we're going to hang around for some couple questions. And again, we're going to distribute this recording. We're going to send a presentation to you, and we're going to send you the help doc, and we'll send you the registration links for our upcoming webinars, so you can check that out as if you can. And in case you cannot check them out, just register anyway. and we'll send you the presentation and a recording for that webinar, and you can review it with your team or by yourself at your leisure. Again, thank you so much for your time.